What's going on, guys? NuttyNu here. Today we're here in the midtown of Anchorage, Alaska at the Lusek Library, where the mayor and the city assembly are now going to start voting shortly. And some of their voting is going to be about defunding the APD, Anchorage Police Department, and some other issues that's been going on. Lately, a lot of the local residents have been really pissed off at the mayor because of the whole closing down the restaurants and stuff like that. They also have, there's also been theories that the mayor has financial ties to other restaurants where he's favoring them, or conflict of interest where he's keeping them open while shutting down other restaurants. So today we're gonna go and interview some of these protesters, which are all most likely local residents. Some of them are most likely business owner, and we're gonna see what's going on today and some of their thoughts and suggestions. Let's go. All right, guys, so we're here with one of the local residents here, and she has saying yes on 20, 66, 65, and 80. Can you tell us a little bit about what these three things are?
Yeah, for sure. It's also 271 as well, which is $1 million that they want to put towards mental health services for the Anchorage School District. So that's another one that I wrote to today. 80 is the police brutality reform that they're working on. I wish it went a little further. I'm surprised, honestly, and a little disgusted that it's controversial. What AO80 is about is trying to not allow police to basically kneel on people's necks, and I can't believe that's okay.
So like crazy abuse of force.
Abuse of force, absolutely, yeah, blatant abuse of force. So I wish it definitely doesn't address the actual issue, but the fact that people want this to be legal is absolutely disgusting.
And what is 66?
So 66 is part of the SAVES Act and how they want to allocate that, like, $270 some odd million given to Alaska for COVID response. Now, I think it's like 22.5 million is proposed to go towards 4 locations that will be used and purchased by the city to have houseless persons be able to be housed for a longer term too. We had the Sullivan Arena. That was great. That was what that was for, was a emergency, a acute emergency. Now what we're dealing with now is a chronic emergency, and this has to be much longer term how we deal with this. And now we're dealing with multiple issues all at the same time. It's not just respond to COVID, it's you have to also help people who are houseless at the same time. There's so many issues going on, and the eviction moratorium's ending, so people are going to get kicked out of their homes. Everybody just lost $600 a week. Everything's coming to a crash. I mean, winter's coming, so a lot of things are happening. What's important about this is it's going to help people be housed, especially in a more comfortable environment.
So like people that might be out of jobs or can't afford their rent, stuff like that?
Any houseless persons. That's what these places will go towards, is helping the houseless.
And one last question: what's your opinion right now on the mayor shutting down most of the restaurants? Good or bad?
Did he shut it down, or did he just not allow people to eat in?
So no dining.
No dining in, but you can order out.
Correct.
Oh, it's so nice. It's Alaska in the summer. Eat out. Come on. What are you doing inside?
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm here with another local resident, and we have a Save Anchorage recall the mayor and also recall 66 and 85. Can you tell us what your opinion on that is?
Well, on 66, they're trying to build facilities for the homeless. And I mean, other cities and other states have tried to do that, and all they've done is create a huge corporate structure for homeless people, and they don't want to be helped. The majority do not want to be helped. There's mental health issues, there's drug addiction issues, and they just want to be away from the social, the social structure.
And what about 85?
85 is reforming the police department, right? And Anchorage does not have a problem. APD does not have a problem. Most of the things that they're trying to mandate, they don't do.
Mostly what we see is from the low 48s. So you think maybe the media has set the wrong attention that from what APD is like up here?
They're trying to say everyone is the same, and Anchorage in Alaska is not the same. So that's my opinion.
And one last opinion, what's your thought on the mayor, going with the conflict of interest on the restaurant issues? Have you been looking into anything like that?
Yeah, I'm totally against that. It's like, what does he think a month is going to do? I mean, he's just extending this mandate where no one can have a business. And it's like, why are they trying to stop small business? I mean, Walmart, Costco, Fred Meyer, all of them.
Absolutely agree, yeah. They get way more traffic and way more human interaction than a typical day at the restaurant. I agree. I would agree on that.
Right. And besides, you're not going to stop it in 1 month.
All right.
It's going to come back. It's a virus.
What do you think is the solution right now as for Anchorage moving forward with this whole C-19 and pandemic that we're going through?
I think people should mask if they want to, and if they don't want to, then they shouldn't have to. This is a free country last time I checked. I mean, it's a pandemic. People are going to get sick, unfortunately.
And their ID patches to get on an airplane? I don't think so. I said we black, blue.
All right, why are you here today?
I'm Kelly Summers. I'm a resident of Spenard, and I'm here in opposition to AO 2020-66. There's been no public process of the mayor trying to buy these hotels. They're going to decimate our communities, as demonstrated by them passing an ordinance to kick all the homeless out of Fairview. So now they want to ruin Midtown and Spenard. They need to have a public process, and they need to include everybody, and they are not hearing us.
Do you think 66 will help if they went through with it?
No, it will not. It will do nothing except bind us, the taxpayers, to pay maintenance and operations on these decrepit facilities for years to come.
What about 85, the whole defunding the police and APD? What do you think about that?
The mayor and the assembly has no business telling the police officers how to do their jobs.
Thank you very much.
Back the blue! Back the blue! Let them know we're on their side. Our APD is on our side. We need to back their side.
So a lot of people are supporting the APD, which is what we're hearing here.
Open up the small businesses. Every case that you file against Griner's Diner, you need to drop that right now. Drop all cases against small businesses that just want to make a living wage. The people have spoken, and we motion for you to end these lawless edicts that do not override, once again, the Constitution and Bill of Rights of these United States of America, that my brothers and sisters right here are willing to fight and lay down their lives for, and their relatives. We're not going to give it up in our lifetime. We're not bowing the knee to the communist Chinese regime funded by millionaires and billionaires. We're not going to take your mandated vaccination. Who thinks we need to be let inside? Let us in! 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 Grocery store. Nobody. It's just a front line there where they're just saying they can't let us in, when in fact we can walk through the door anytime we want to. When you go in the grocery store, you don't got to put that diaper on your face, folks. This is America. Can we just walk in that door? Are we going to placate to their power and tyranny, how much longer?
I'm here with another local resident of Anchorage. Are you a local resident?
Yes.
Okay, why are you here today?
To protest the way the mayor is handling things within this city.
Are we talking about like the whole like the restaurant issue, or what particular issues are we talking about?
Just everything. From striking so much fear and producing misinformation to people to make them afraid to live their lives and taking away their basic freedoms as well.
What do you think about the? Recently, we hear there's a theory about the conflict of interest of the mayor having conflict of interest with other restaurant, financial ties. What do you think about that?
Definitely think that's some concern. Definitely needs to be explored. So I wish there were some journalists out there that were doing that, like Susan Downey. She's doing a really good job about trying to educate people.
Do you think these restaurants should be open and their safety should be taken upon their guidelines are?
Absolutely. I think people are intelligent enough that if you give them information, they can make prudent decisions. We're not a bunch of kindergartners. Give us information. Tell us what you feel the expectations are, and then we can evaluate the risk value from there.
And what do you think about the whole Proposition 85 of defunding the APD department?
I think defunding the police is probably always a bad idea. I think in any department you can look to be more efficient, but to actually proactively say we need to go in there and cut 15 to 20%. If you're going to do that to the police, I expect that you're going to do that in every other governmental agency too, across the board. So I don't care, if you're in the mayor's office or in human resources or, the voting department, everything needs to be cut across the board if you're going to cut the police.
What do you think the city of Anchorage or the mayor should do as of now with the whole situation, the pandemic going on? Should we just open up Alaska and go on with life, or what's the way to go on with life right now?
Well, like I said, give people information. We're not stupid. We can make good decisions. We've been doing it before the pandemic came along. Why can't we do it now that we're supposedly in a pandemic? We did not all of a sudden lose our brain power and have to be told what to do. Give us information. That's what we need. We can make good, sound decisions on our own. Don't need to have somebody being a tyrant.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
And you're here with your family. It's a barbecue day. Call your family now. Call your friends now. Ask them to come back tomorrow.
All right, first and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, what brings you out here to this protest today?
Lord Berkowitz.
So what's going on with him?
Let's see, this spandemic, his scandemic, all the rules he has in place, shutting the city down, not caring what the people want, blowing the CARES money on things that's not warranted, buying 4 buildings, and he already signed off on 1 before it was even approved. Open the city, open all the businesses fully, open our schools. Distance learning will not be good for kids.
So Anchorage can handle ourselves. Alaska, we can handle
Oh,
ourselves.
absolutely. We've got the best numbers of any state, and the masks are useless. You've either gotten COVID, you're going to get it, or you had it and not know it. But it's not a killer like they feared. We know that now.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
What do you have to say today? What's going on?
Berkowitz is a socialist and a communist, and people are fighting against that. We're in a free country. Lots of people have died to come to this country. I'm a foreigner that was adopted into this country. I was 7, and I understood freedoms and rights at 7 years old. I loved this country at that age, and that's what's kept me sane, is being in this country, because
What other countries have this much freedom and rights?
Absolutely. Agree.
They're taking them all away from us. And they're violating our rights with 18 USC, Section 241 and 242. They're not allowed to take away any of our rights at all. It's all protected, not just by the Constitution or Bill of Rights. And we have a right to breathe.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's our right. And we have a right to work and support our families and clothe them, house them, give them their food. So,
So is the mayor trying to mandate everybody has to wear a mask at all time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he wants everybody. We're supposed to be wearing masks, but you know what? Screw him. We have a right. And we need to breathe.
So what do you want to say for people that are out of Alaska? What do you want to say to them?
To the lower 48?
To the lower 48.
Everybody stand up and fight back. You've got a wonderful country. You've got a wonderful president right now that's defending all of us. We need to stand up for each other and stand up for this country. So I think the lower 48 needs to start protesting against all these people that are protesting against America.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm here with the local business. Can you tell us about what you do here in Anchorage, Alaska?
I currently run a roofing company, Holland Roofing.
So why are you here today?
I just feel like the average Alaskan, we can self-assess risk. So we don't have to be an insurance adjuster to be able to self-assess risks, and we should be able to have the choice to go out our business, go to a restaurant, have life as we know it, go to school, go to church, those kind of things.
So you think that the mayor should reopen Anchorage? As far as what everybody's wanting right now.
100%. I think the mayor should reopen Anchorage.
So what's the message you want to give out to everybody that might be watching this, as far as their local residents or as far as if they're from out of state?
Well, I think if they're out of state, they don't realize that not everything you see on the news is accurate. We are not a COVID-stricken city with this huge dangerous situation. We actually have very few risk factors out there. We have almost nobody at the hospitals. In fact, our hospitals are pretty empty. Like all my friends that are in the medical field, they all tell me the same thing. The mask isn't really doing anything. There is totally empty hospitals. People need to relax. My friends that work for the municipality, the fire department, the schools, they're all saying the same thing. We already naturally socially distance in Alaska. We have big yards, our houses are far apart. It's not like New York. Nobody's walking across a crowded sidewalk. We have a lot of space and we're very safe here. In fact, we are more at risk from getting in a car accident or a bear attack.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, we're still here with a bunch of protests, over 200-300 people. They're still protesting, and I think their assembly is getting ready to vote here shortly around 5 p.m.
Open our city! Open our city! Open our city! Open our city! Open our
program and let people defecate in your backyard. Let felons live in your backyard. Are you going to take that? Are you going to sit there and work just to make things easier to have these people not let us in the door? Let us in! 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 Let us in!
Damn, it's pretty crazy. So right now, a lot of folks are trying to get inside of the building. A lot of the protesters are trying to get inside, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Sir, how you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
What's going on today, sir?
Well, there's a bunch of people here that are upset with a number of issues that that the assembly and the mayor are behind.
What do you think is the solution right now?
Well, I think a good start would be to get rid of this particular mayor and get a mayor that agrees with the people. They recently did a survey where 96% of the people were opposed to a particular ordinance and 4% were behind the mayor. And yet the mayor continues to pursue that issue. Issues like buying those buildings that he's trying to buy, closing down people that are trying to make a living. My goodness, there's just a whole lot of things that these folks are opposed to, as you can tell by listening.
So do you think Anchorage should reopen business-wise, restaurant, everything?
I don't deny that there's a risk, but 3%, 0.03% of the people that are dying from the virus, that's not worth an exchange.
Correct. Totally.
Economy. You know, in fact, I think that we've had people dying from the flu for years. This is the first time we've ever dealt with it in this way. There's good things happening. People are washing their hands. People are covering their faces. They're covering their sneezes. That's all good stuff. But it's not worth what it's costing us.
What do you think his agenda is?
What?
What do you think his agenda is? Why he's doing this?
I think he wants to turn it into a place that he's familiar with, and that's San Francisco, California.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
You bet.
All right, guys, we are here still taking the protest to the streets right now, right here on Denali and 36. Denali and 36, we're moving to the streets, and we're going to try to get more interviews for you guys and see what everyone thinks, and let them voice their opinions. All right, so one of the lady gave me a classified document, and she just handed it to me, so I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and open it and take a look at it. It's a bunch of letters. It's like 10 pages of letter. I'm not exactly sure what it's all about, but there's like some transcripts and a little bit of subjects of just a lot of stuff in general. So I might have to go ahead and read this down later and give you guys a little quick summarize of what it is. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It talks about the mayor, Ethan, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's all handwritten. You guys can see there, it's all handwritten stuff. So we'll go ahead and read through that later, and I'll give you guys a summarize of what it is.
I'm here today to support Anchorage opening up for all the businesses that have been affected. That I think the mayor should open them up and just let Anchorage open up. Other cities around the state is open up, except Anchorage. People are going down to the Kenai Peninsula, the valley, spending their money where it's pretty much normal, don't have to wear a mask. But in Anchorage, we're locked down. I have a problem because of the numbers as far as the COVID-19. We know it's a virus out there. We know it's serious. But the flu in 2018-19 year, it killed 61 Alaskans, 238 lower respiratory pneumonia people died from the flu. Nobody said one thing. There was no mass lockdowns. There was no city lockdown. So I'm here to support Anchorage to open up. I was born and raised here before it was a state, and I'm here to support Anchorage. I love the city.
Do you think the mayor, the city has their own agenda for something else?
I do. I don't want to go into that, but yes, I do. I think it's an underlying agenda because it's not making sense. Nothing's adding up.
What do you want to say for anybody that's out there that might be watching this, or anything that might not, or anybody out of state?
I just think that people should stand up. I think people should be a little more informed in their information to look at both sides of COVID-19. The information is out there, and try to respect what everybody is saying and not just be one dialogue, and let everybody come to the table with their opinions, because we still live in America. We still abide by freedom and the First Amendment rights, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. How you doing, sir?
Well, and yourself?
Do you mind talking to me real quick?
Sure, why not?
We'll film right here. Why are we here today? Why are you here today?
Mostly watching, although I agree with these people. I write for Must Read Alaska, so I'm on their side, but I'm kind of uninvolved because I'm taking notes.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think the Anchorage should open back up? I mean, this is what most people here want.
Yes, I do think Anchorage should open back up. I think this is tyrannical. I think this is all about trying to force a mail ballot election that Democrats can steal. That it'll all be over on November 4th.
So what agenda do you think the mayor has right now?
He's just being a Democrat operative. Apparatchik is a better word. You know, he's just carrying out the agenda, and
all right, so they have
He wants to be governor. He will need the support of the party, so he's got to be a good apparatchik for the Democrats.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
They can even shut down literally the entire property out here at the library. Open up Anchorage! Open up Anchorage!
Scan through? The run through? Yeah, that's fine.
It says the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition their government shall never be abridged. Is it being abridged right now? Yes, we will always stay peaceful, okay, guys? That's what we want to do, okay? Okay, public meetings. I'm going to read a statute as a state lawmaker, an AS 447231. It said public meetings of the Assembly, School Board, Commissions shall be open to the public. Are they open? The Open Meetings Act says all meetings of government body or public entity by the state are open to the public. The government body means a symbol with the authority to establish policies or make decisions on the public entity. The city code also echoes that and says all meetings of the assembly shall be open, and it says at each meeting the public has the right to reasonably be heard. Are you being heard? Are they listening to you? Well, let me tell you, I am, and there are others that are too.
Bernadette asking me to speak today. I've got a lot of ideas on how this city needs to go forward, but what I'm going to do really is tonight is just ask a bunch of questions. And it's real
Come up here,
stuff.
come closer.
Reflected in some of these signs here. Why is Walmart open and Kreiner's is closed, effectively? Okay, where's the data to support the notion that a mayor of a city can pick winners and losers in the business community? Where does he get that from? When all this started here about 5 months ago, I started asking some other questions. One of them was believe it or not, to my mom. And she's 83 years old, and I asked her, hey, when you went through all this, the polio thing in the late 40s, early 50s, everything else, I said, did you know anybody that actually got polio, died from it, was crippled from it? She says, oh, yeah. And then she went down the street, says that person, and they had 2 people, that house had none, that house had 3. My question is, does anyone here know anyone that's died from this pandemic personally? I'm not saying they don't exist. There's 26 so far that's died for some reason related to COVID. Does anyone know anyone that's died from this? Okay, does anyone know anyone who's tested positive? I know 3. Okay, the question then is this: where's the pandemic? Okay, I'm not denying the science. I'm not denying that the elderly and there's other people at risk. But why are we thinking about closing schools? There's no threat in the school. They're picking arbitrary numbers on a daily basis, and it's changing on a daily basis on why the school district is going to close schools, and it's based on what the mayor is saying. Okay, that's got to change. That's got to stop. I just want to say thank you very much. Bernadette, thanks for asking me to speak.
All right, guys, so the assembly just passed that we're not allowed to gather more than 25 or 50 persons, so they might try to scatter us.
Municipal property. The sidewalk in front of us, I don't believe is. Don't hold me to that, but I don't believe the sidewalk is.
That's crazy.
We will wait and see as they debate more inside.
Because it's our right to worship. It's our right to vote. It is our right to have our voice be released for the righteousness of Jesus Christ. Amen.
They're selling the vote. I will never.
They're paid for.
Let's lift up the name.
Okay, so what's really important that nobody's covering is that in 1913 there was an amendment improperly passed to the U.S. Constitution
that the U.S. senators would be elected by popular vote. Well, the U.S. senators are supposed to be the representatives of the states. So before that, they were elected by the state legislatures. So they were accountable to the state legislatures, and they could be fired by the state legislatures. But now you can't get them out of there with dynamite. Whoever has the biggest amount of money can buy the most TV time, you know, and they're just in there for life. And they become extremely wealthy because of all their personal gain, ill-gotten gain from their power and position. You know, and that's never covered. That's where the main corruption is coming from.
So what do you think is going on today as far as everybody being here? I mean, what do you think the people want from the city of Anchorage?
They just want to carry on their lives. They don't want to go bankrupt. They don't want their businesses to go out of business. They don't want their children to go to school with some kind of a mask on where you can't even see the people. Everybody with a mask on, they look scared. They look frightened. And, you know, they don't want like plastic stuff hanging around their kids. And you know, everybody's always got to be scared. There always has to be something to be afraid of. That we want the government to pass more laws and to take away more of our freedoms so that, you know, we feel safe. But if you give the government all the power that you should have, you're never going to be safe.
So let me ask you a question. So for somebody who is opposed for this, why would they want this?
Why would they want what?
If somebody, let's put our feet into somebody that want the mayor to do what he's doing right now. Why would they want that?
Because they are afraid. They don't believe in God. They think the only hope they have is that the government will protect them. They watch CNN. They watch all the mainstream brainwashing, and they don't know any better. You know, they're just scared.
People need to get out of that fear mentality, huh?
Well, they need to understand that God's in control, that God loves them and cares about them, and that the people who are in power, they don't care about them. They care about their own power. You know, power corrupts. And, you know, you can see what it's done to all these mayors and governors across the United States that turned into dictators, usurping power they absolutely do not have, destroying businesses, keeping people from going to church. People are committing suicide. You know, there's people are staying home and getting drunk. They're doing more drugs. I mean, they're going to lose their houses. All this is going to have a long-term effect.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.